Ms. Steele is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all the witnesses tonight. And I just want to say just one thing, because we are talking about AIs and we are talking about digital trade and other stuff, that I wish that Congressman Kim and Moulton are here to hear, because our R&D tax credit's been actually expired. That's really important for all these startup companies or other companies, so they can get the tax credit. That passed in the Ways and Means Committee bipartisan way. So we really cannot attack on the other side of the aisle or Republican versus Democrat. We can work together. That's why we are here on this committee. We wanted to work together. Our adversaries here are not each other, but CCP. So that's what we heard from both sides of leaders, our Speaker Kevin McCarthy and leader Hakeem Jeffries. Having said that, after hearing from our witnesses today, it is alarming that the 80% of American adults have had all of their personal data stolen by the CCP, and the other 20%, most of their personal data. This is on the top of their efforts to control all or most aspects of global supply chain, including the use of lodging, its data tracking system at the port, and mining of critical rare minerals. California companies are on the front line of CCP attacks. As far back as 2018, the FBI released that the CCP was targeting a variety of California tech companies, including those involved in artificial intelligence, robotics, and semiconductors. As the United States looks to spread our global influence and set the rules of the road on emerging technologies, it is important to recognize the role that smart trade policies can have. For example, our most recent comprehensive trade agreement, USMCA, included important protection for IP rights and the first ever digital trade chapter, both of which will help promote tech innovation and economic growth. Mr. Evanina, as the digital economy grows, how can the United States take a leading role in shaping the rules of the road, and how can we lead on digital trade? What rules are needed to protect our competitive edge? Especially, how can the United States push back on Chinese digital model in third countries that includes concerning provisions like forced data localization, and what risks are posed if U.S. companies must store data on servers manufactured in Chinese companies like Huawei?
Thank you, Congresswoman. That's a very complicated question. I'll do my best to answer it, but I think you hit on a multitude of really important issues that our private sector is dealing with right now. First of all, the idea that China is going to have analogous morals, ethics, values, rule of law like we do is not going to happen. So their issue with the Uyghurs and their inability to have regulations and care about human element will promulgate their AI and their nefarious activities. Secondly, we have to know as a nation, whether it be with Lux Capital or anybody who's investing, when you contract with a company from China, you are going to lose all of your third-party data. Your data, it's part of the contract. And you have to be okay with it or just understand that. So understanding the lexicon of dealing with China is issue number one. And number two, also from a regulatory perspective, our regulatory agencies here in the U.S. have to understand the complexities of moving money from here to China and vice versa, and how that impacts third-party data as well as privacy.
Thank you. Another area in which the United States must show leadership is in protecting intellectual property rights. The implication of CCP IP theft, which according to your testimony is estimated to cost Americans between $300 billion to $600 billion per year, are profound. Through coercion and theft, the CCP is attempting to undermine our competitive edge in emerging technologies. We must push back on these malign practices Yet it seems that our administration is not working hard enough to protect our national interest. Maybe they are, but we don't see that. Look no further than its decision to agree to a waiver of IP rights for mRNA vaccines at the World Trade Organization. Can you explain the dangers here and ways the U.S. must do a better job on protecting IP internationally?
Yeah,
Very
Congresswoman, I think IP issues are a tremendous issue right now, especially with respect to the theft. And I'm going to juxtapose a little bit of what my colleague, Mr. Wolf, talked about with respect to patents. We have a very archaic patent system here in the U.S. Oftentimes, China will get involved in that research development process and steal that patent before we even get through the process, develop it in China, and sell it on the world market for 30 cents on the dollar. So oftentimes we are late to the game, even though that ideation and technological know-how came from the U.S., it's being sold worldwide before we even get it through the patent process.
Thank you so much. I want to ask another question, but it seems like my time's been expired.
Always welcome for the record.